I was a soldier stationed in Korea. I was single at a time, so as it usually happens I met a Korean girl, while I was at my night out on the weekend. She was very pretty, about same age as me. She said she was going to Seoul University, where she studied history and psychology.
She was insanely smart. Her English was really good and in fact instant connection to her. Her name was Hanya. I spent most of my days off hanging out with her. We exchanged messages when I was at work, and it all seemed to be going in the right direction. One odd thing was that she was very hesitant at meeting my friends. At the time I didn't think anything of it, I just wanted to show her off, but she would become very avoidant every time I mentioned my friends coming over, and most of the time she would just ghost, and message me afterwards saying she had something going on. About 3 months of NE dating her, Hanya told me he wanted to eat at the nice Japanese restaurant in Seoul. I made my over there. Place was nice but rather empty. We were the only customers from what it seems like. I tried Googling the reviews for this place, but it was almost like it didn't exist. No Google reviews, no address. Well, maybe it's just an exclusive place. Who knows? It is Korea after all. Hanya was already there. She was staring right at me as I was walking in. I smiled and winked at her, but her face was expressionless, which wasn't unusual for her. She was sitting there motionless. Her face expression gave me creeps, but I just walked over to the table and sat. "Are you trying to creep me out?" I asked. "No, I'm just admiring you," she said while smiling, but it was a different kind of smile. Almost predatory in a way. I was sitting there hesitant to begin a conversation. She just kept staring at me. I began to feel nervous. "What?" I said while giving off a nervous laugh. "Why do you seem so nervous?" she asked. "Do I make you nervous?" "No, it's this place. Why is it so empty?" "It's not time yet. Maybe you will see someone real soon." At this point I lost appetite a bit, and I was really just wanted to get out. I would expect a strong soldier like yourself to be so scared of an empty restaurant. Are you strong and brave? I kept expecting some kind of prank, but no prank ever came. I wouldn't call myself brave. Maybe reckless. I smiled at her. Her face expression didn't change a bit. Reckless. I like that word. I don't think I ever used it before. Maybe I will. What is the most reckless thing you have ever done? I started telling her a story of me and my friends exploring an abandoned mine back in my hometown in West Virginia. She seemed interested, but also eager to tell me something. "Would you do something reckless for me?" I stopped on the middle of my story, not sure how to answer her question. "Like what?" I asked. "I don't know. How about elevator game?" "What is elevator game?" I honestly had no clue what she was referring to. Korean and Japanese teenagers play it to enter other worlds. I started laughing. All of this for some teenager game. Okay, sure, it sounds a lot safer than exploring abandoned mines. She explained me the rules of the game and I quickly dismissed it all as stupid. Basically, if you go up and down in the elevator in a certain sequence, then it will take you other world. Okay, whatever you say. You have to press elevator buttons in following sequence 4, 2, 6, 1, 0, 5. That's the only thing I remembered. She mentioned something about a lady walking into an elevator, but I totally didn't pay attention at that point. Only thing I remembered was not to interact with her. I agreed to play the game. How stupid was I? She told me that there is an apartment building nearby where I can play. We finished our meal and walked over to it. It was a nice about 15-story cookie-cutter apartment. It was getting late, so not a whole lot of people were out. Some older Korean lady gave us an evil grin when we walked it in. Hanya looked at me and asked if I was ready. I was still in the jolly mood. I laughed and said I was. She reminded me not to talk to a lady in the elevator. I got into an elevator 4th floor first. Doors opened up, nothing happened. Back down to 2nd floor. Doors opened, nothing again. 6th floor. Doors opened, again nothing, now 10th floor. Doors opened. Wow, to my horror there was a lady was standing there. What the hell? It's like 3 a.m. Her head was down. She walked into elevator. I was trying not to look at her. Jonathan, honey, it's me honey, look at me. My knees gave out and I fell to the floor. All I could think at the moment that my drink was laced with something. I felt nauseous. It was Mother's voice. She died of cancer last year, but it wasn't hers. It sounded like mixed of her voice and the static. The kind of static you hear on the radio. What is going on? Jonathan, are you okay? Get up, I have an apple pie in the kitchen. All you have to do is talk. Talk, she screamed out in the this time demonic voice. I could hear it inside my head. I kept trying to throw up, but nothing was coming out. I looked at my hands. They were covered with blood. I started to frantically wipe it off. Suddenly everything stopped. Elevator doors opened up. I walked out stumbling. Suddenly nausea feeling went away. I thought I was back to reality. I started to notice weird stuff. First off, I saw twilight. I looked at my watch, but I could tell time. Didn't know why, but I couldn't figure it out. Numbers just didn't make any sense to me. I walked out in the street to get some fresh air. Instead of fresh air, I felt a wave of hot air. It felt like hell. Maybe it was, for all I know. I looked around. Everything looked the same but different. There was no street lights, no lights anywhere in that matter. I decided to make my way down to a bus stop. I don't know why none of the surroundings make me feel like it wasn't the reality. I saw a man sitting down at the bus stop. He was an elderly guy, maybe in his 60s. He was looking down on the ground. I could see his eyes. I stopped and looked him. He then looked up, eyes were completely black. Hello Jonathan, are you glad to see me? Again it was my mom's voice. I started running, and falling, getting up and running again. I fell again and hit my head. I lost consciousness. I woke up in the hospital. Hanya was right there next to me. Jonathan, are you okay? I got up and looked around. Jonathan, what happened to you? I explained her everything. Hanya told me that doctor will be in soon to take a look at me, and she hasn't heard from me in a few days and she was worried. So she was scallops hospitals around to see, and that's how she found me. Oh my god, I thought what the hell was that? We talked for a while. She told me had to leave because she had to go to school. I asked if my phone was with me so I can call my boss. She handed me the phone and kissed my forehead. I looked at my phone but I still couldn't see a date or time or anything else. Was trying to dial my squad leader but I just couldn't. The phone didn't make any sense. Suddenly, Hanya said in an ominous voice, "Why are you struggling, Jonathan? I told you not to look at her. Did you look at her?" "What?" I said. "Nothing. Doctor will be in a minute." As soon as she got done talking, the doctor walked in. It was the same old man I saw at the bus stop. "Jonathan, I will make you feel all better." Both him and whatever was sitting right next to me started laughing. I screamed out, so loud that I woke up on the middle of the street of this other world. The old man was gone. I got up. I started crying. What in the hell this place? "Jonathan, come to me and we could be together." I heard Hanya's voice. "Come to me, honey. I think I'm falling in love with you." Then I heard a laugh, the same laugh I just heard when I was in the hospital. I collapsed on my knees and started weeping. This is just stupid game. None of this is real. God, please help me. I thought I died and I am now in hell. I don't know how long I spent crying. There was no sense of time in that place. It felt like a void, like time stopped. I tried remembering the sequence. Hanya told to get back, I would have to do it in reverse. I tried looking for a same apartment building I used to get here. I couldn't find it. I don't know where the hell it went. I kept going around but I kept ending up at the same bus stop. I looked up and saw the building. Suddenly it appeared on the skyline. I walked to it. The elevator was still there. I got in. I pressed 5. Doors opened. Then 10 doors opened. 6 doors opened. 4 doors opened. And finally 2 doors opened. There was a lady standing there looking at me. I fell down and started screaming and kicking. The lady looked at me like I was crazy. Behind her was an old man who tried talking to me to calm me down. "It's okay," he kept saying, mixed with something in Korean. I couldn't tell if it was another trick or not. The elderly Korean couple took me outside. It was a nice sunny day. Everything seemed normal. I picked up my phone and immediately tried calling Hanya. But I had no such person in my contact list. I looked through my messages and there was no messages with her. It's like she didn't exist. I went back to my barracks. I didn't tell anyone about what happened. All I wanted to do is find Hanya. It was Saturday morning, so I was off duty that day. I went Seoul University to her dorm room. When I knocked on her door, another girl answered. She spoke little English. I told her I was looking for Hanya. She laughed and said, "Hanya? Like a demon." "What? A demon? It's a girl. She lives here." Another girl came up and said something to her in Korean. "No, Hanya ever lived here. She shut the door." What the hell is going on? I went back to my barracks and checked my bank statement on see which Japanese restaurant I went to, but the last transaction was from AAFES 2 days ago. I dwelled for a long time about what happened. I spoke with one of our KATUSAs, Korean nationals augmenting US Army in Korea. I carefully told a story. And they told me that a demon was trying to lure me in. It usually appears in the form of a pretty woman. When you trust her, she takes you to hell. I kept asking why, and they didn't know. There was no particular reason. I guess demon saw something in me, maybe the fact that I was vulnerable after my mother's death. Or maybe THR was something else.